Then discussion about one of the things that I plan to work on next, which is the event model, and specifically about that issue that Jim opened, about which events will be useful for interaction on cursor. Then there's another discussion point about timers, which is another thing that I was planning to work next. Is in that list of P0 behavior graphs issues, and then just a little showcase where we can jump on. I just have like a few scenes that Jim has been sharing. I think also in the channel, but internally to me, just to test things, and I think most of them or all of them are in the demo repository where all these behavior graphs demos. So we can jump on a room. I prepare a room where we can change different scenes and jump in there and experiment with the network behavior graphs and see how everybody sees the same or not. So maybe we can stream in this main room what I see in that room, so we can all just like click on the buttons or interact with objects and see how that if everybody sees the same thing and networking is working correctly. Because I have the feeling that I've been testing that myself quite a lot internally, but I'm not sure if the rest of the people are using network behavior graphs so much. So it's good to start testing it all together. And yeah, and finally, if there are any questions, we can also spend some time on that. Yeah, so that's more or less the agenda. I guess Jim is, well, we can probably start. Jim will join eventually.
Mm-hmm. At some point, I have a file that I think breaks events and or variable setting within them. If you want to see that.
Have you opened an issue?
No, not yet.
Hmm.
It's a little bit because back on Friday, Jim and I were talking about arrays, and so I figured out what should work, a way to manually like create arrays based on objects and their variables and custom events, and so I have arrays that will uh, or behavior graphs that will loop over specific array objects, and it's totally a hacky solution, but the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I think it should still work, but it's not. So I was kind of hoping to show that and get some feedback first, just in case I did something dumb that I wasn't seeing.
Mm-hmm. So you said it's crashing, right?
No, it's not crashing. It's just the events don't seem. But actually, some events seem to be fired twice when they should only be fired once, and other events just don't seem to be firing, or the variables are not getting set. And
Okay.
so,
Yeah, we can take a look. Uh, Maybe we start first with all these updates and
yeah,
discussions, and then we talk about that at the end of the meeting, the
yep.
questions or feedback part.
Uh,
Okay,
yep.
so well, we can get started with updates. Yeah, the last thing that landed was well, all these updates about automatic networking, and well, we were going over that the last meeting. There's a huge post about that in the behavior graph channel. So I think most of you here were in the last couple of meetings, so you know you have had a chance to take a look at that. So so that was the main thing. Then I've been working on small fixes. There was an issue with set component property on audio, so that's been fixed. Basically, we're not grabbing the right audio entity internally, so I just fixed that as part of the previous update. So that got broken somewhere in between, or during that update, but that's fixed. Then also Jim was asking for a set like a material variable, which wasn't there. was at some point was lost. I think it was at the very beginning, but then during the big refactor that they did, then I removed that. When I moved variables from basically sockets that were in the properties panel of sockets, then I moved that to a proper variable panel, and that I didn't migrate that at that point. So that now we have that. I think Urs reported an issue with that, so I have to take a look at that. And then also the local to wall for vectors and Euler angles was broken. So yeah, I saw that. I think it never really worked, to be honest. I had a feeling because the code couldn't work at all. So that should be working fine now. So yeah, those are the main updates. Not sure if anyone wants to share something about it. No? Okay. So yeah, then we can jump to the discussion points. Maybe I wish Jim was here because he opened these two items.
Yes.
So it would be nice to discuss. I was actually hoping to discuss that with him here, but well, anyways, I'm going to go about. If you have access to that document that I was talking about, the link is in the chat. So the first discussion point is need events to extend on Interact for better usability. And I think I was going over the issue and also the suggestions from Imaginer there. And this is my initial idea of what to implement, which is on interaction events. Having we now have just on interact, which is basically when you click down and interact with an object, with a 3D object, then that will trigger the on interact event.
Yes. And we're hoping that it should be expanded to be more. Oh.
I tried to say something. Do you hear me?
Oh, I hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're on mute.
I was unmuted, but there he is again. Okay.
Okay, I think I'm far from the Wi-Fi, so maybe my connection is not super stable. I think somebody mentioned that you couldn't hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, not sure when you lost me, but I was talking about these three interact events, which we used to. Now we have only on Interact, and yeah, Jim suggested to have more states for that event. And Imaginer also suggested having start, stay, and end, and all of them can output the entity that's been you are grabbing, or you are still grabbing, or you stop grabbing. Not sure if anybody has any suggestions or that or comments.
Well, I think they're generally good. I know Jim wanted stuff for being able to detect you clicking and holding on things. And I guess hovering on things as well. I guess that would be useful for tooltips and things. I'm wondering a bit at the cursor events, and if that shouldn't be for not 2D screens only, but for VR as well. Is there anyone here today that uses VR regularly? Okay.
Yeah, I don't use it regularly, but I'm happy to help test things on my Quest if we need to.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering what someone who used VR would think about having interact events fire for like hover and stuff when you just had your hand in an object.
Okay, that will be. I don't think that will be on cursor event. I guess that will be like some different event. Yeah, I know, like something like on enter object event, on exit object. If that's useful, if that's a not useful event, which I can imagine that in some cases could be, I will just make a different category of events. Will be like on, yeah, like I said, like on enter object, on or exit object.
I think they can be very helpful because when we have some interactive elements, it could be very giving a good feedback when you enter the hot zone for an object or something with a hand or with the body or with the cursor, so that people know now I can do something on it, or more explicitly, like when you hover over a button in a web interface, it turns the color or changes the color, and then you can click it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a valid proposition. Whenever, I mean, in 2D screens will be on cursor, and on virtual, I guess it will be because it's so in VR you only have your hands to interact with objects. So there, I guess we will use the on object enter exit but or maybe we should rename that. Maybe that merging that, but instead of calling it cursor on cursor enter, just on object enter stay and exit.
Yeah.
Let me read this. I'm trying to read the chat. Sorry, I mean. Yeah, you have some feedback about that, Sarina, you can share. That would be useful. Yeah, so maybe we could work on providing some generic events for hands and cursor. Yeah, enter, exit, and stay. Yeah, I think that could be useful. Let me write that down. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm taking notes at the same time as I'm talking, and
no worries. No worries. This is good.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so then that will leave the events as interaction events, which is will be like grabbing events. So when you're still grabbing an object, and when you end grabbing an object, and then just like sort of hovering events, hover enter, hover exit, and while you are hovering.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good. Nice.
Now, what about that last one on cursor move? Do we think we want that?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it. Usually you have always like a mouse move event. It's pretty common.
Mhm.
So I was wondering if it was interesting to have like some sort of like some similar event. I think if we don't find a good reason to have it, I would rather not adding it, unless suddenly or at some point we understand that it's useful. I mean, I think it can be useful for things like if you want something to follow the cursor, for example, some effect, then you can attach some whatever to the cursor, and then you have an effect on the cursor. So for that, those type of things can be useful, but I think I will rather stick to the things that people find useful right now, and if at some point in the future that's interesting, then we can work on that.
Okay. It does definitely sound like an interesting idea, potentially for VR hands as well, but would it be at all performant? Because, I mean, that would update, and any event on that would fire a lot in a session.
Yeah, we probably need to. Well, I mean, you have the on-tick event, right? Also, which is essentially something similar. So probably not good to clutter a graph with a mouse or have a lot of that. But if you need it for a specific purpose, might be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I don't find that essential for now. I think we can skip that, focus on the rest, and then just revisit in the future in case we find some interesting use case where that makes sense.
Maybe instead it would be better to have like a query cursor position node and query hand position node.
Yeah, that could also be useful instead of that, just having like a query node, and if you link that to the tick event, then essentially you have something very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Darius.
I'm sorry if Urs was want to talk, or because we heard you for
a second. I just said yes.
Okay.
That would be very helpful to have something like a mouse position, because for the user and for the objects you have already the position, the possibility to read the position, but not for the cursor.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think that's a good thing to have, or maybe we can even open an issue to have it in the backlog to work on it at some point. Well, let me add that to the notes. All right. Okay. So that's the first item. The second item is the adding a timer. So what Jim wants is that you can create a timer and just that triggers on an interval or a timeout, and so you can loop. Well, I think you have access to the to that issue, and you can read there. But there's something very similar to what they have in other engines like Unreal, where you can create a timer. The timer will trigger, and every time it executes, will like output. Like we call in Unreal, essentially you can call functions or events when you on a timer. So you can create a timer that calls a function or calls an event, and that will trigger every X seconds. So yeah, my proposal is where you see in that issue, which is, let me paste it here, just in case.
So that's basically a while loop.
No, it's a timer. Internally, it uses like a set interval and set timeout.
Okay.
So what you can do with this is you create a timer. You can set it to loop or not, the duration, and then that will output, when it's created, that will output a timer ID that you can store because it's just an int. And then every time it executes, it will call that execute output flow socket. And then from wherever this graph or other graph, you can also clear this timer, just executing this clear timer node and passing the timer. So you can store that timer variable and then clear it later. And then every time it executes, you can, as I do that, you can call a trigger, which in our case, triggers can be, you can call any other event attached to a behavior graph, in an object, in a node tree, or at the seed level. So here you can program several timers that are firing, and that would be calling, executing that output. This is really similar to how it works in Unreal Blueprint. So it basically just because Jim suggested that, so I kind of mimic that functionality there. And I thought this way is pretty useful because you can also set the timer in a graph and clear it in another graph. So it's more flexible than having a node that has like a create or a cancel socket. So yeah, I don't know. I thought this would be like a good proposal for the functionality.
Yes, that looks good. I think, yeah.
Cool. Nice. Okay. So yeah, that will be pushing that shortly. Yeah, so that's basically the two things that I wanted to discuss today, because this is the things that I'm planning to work on next. I'm not sure if anyone has any other comments or suggestions. We can go over those now, and then we can jump to the showcasing and question part.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think this is good.
I have a question to related to the math functions. I was looking for a not equal comparison, and there is none.
Non-equal.
Is it by design, or are they just missing?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't remember that now, to be honest. But doesn't exist for any.
No, I just checked. I'm just checking it in parallel, and there is none. Not for string, not for bool, not for int.
I guess probably because it can be easily replaced by just checking equal and then negating it.
Yeah, but then you have to use two nodes, and there are already lots of nodes in these graphs. So
yeah, no, I didn't pay so much attention to the math nodes so far because I think those are basically the nodes that come with the library. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't really check them that much, but I mean, if it's useful, we can also add that. I mean, it's not a huge effort. Yeah, you can open an issue.
Okay, I can do that, yeah. Now I know how to do that, yes.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Okay, then the float doesn't have a to int node, And I'll add that too. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I was thinking that as well.
What's it? Say again.
The float doesn't have a toInt node.
Okay. Yeah, you can also add that. Yeah, as I said, haven't really paid much attention to those because there's a lot, and I wasn't really using them so much
Yep.
myself. So
Yep. No worries. And again, it has a workaround. You can convert it to a string and then convert the string to an int.
That is what I'm doing now, but it is again an additional node, and
Yes.
it costs
Yep.
also processing time. When it's not
Yep.
necessary, it could be avoided.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Mm.
There we have Jim.
Hey, sorry,
There.
I was a little late.
Hey, Jim.
How are you?
Yeah, we were just going over your proposals for. You can check on the notes.
Right.
Basically, the events for interaction, and this is the things that I'm planning to work next, which is this proposal that you make for adding more interactive events and also for set time and like timers. So we can go over what we talked quickly. What you can see in the notes, but basically for on interact, adding on interact start, on interact stay, and an interact end, which will also output the entity that's been interacted.
Right.
And then there was also, I think, in the same issue, also like, or maybe it was, imagine, I don't remember, but there was that proposal about cursor events.
Yep.
Something like on cursor enter, exit state, but that's mostly for 2D screens. Then for VR, you have different concept, which is when your hand enters the object. So we're talking about merging the cursor and the VR events in something with different name, like something like on object enter, on object stay, or on object exit. So that will trigger both for 2D screens or VR whenever either your hand or the cursor is hovering the object.
Got it.
Yeah. Then we will talk about cursor, or some way to report the cursor position. Yeah, we're talking about having a specific node for that. That I guess that will be only. We'll need to think about that because in 2D screens you have the cursor, and that node, so sort of the mouse position, will report the screen space position of the mouse. But for VR, then we will need to use different node, which is like right hand next hand position, sort of, to achieve the same effect. But then we will need some sort of node to differentiate between which platform are you on, because then you need to use one or the other. So yeah, then
that's always complicated, but yes, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then I was looking at screen coordinates, and I was like, oh, the screen size can vary. Oh, there's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want it in screen space coordinates or in 3D coordinates? Because the cursor
depends.
is actually a object that is within the scene, and you're moving about the scene.
Yeah, no, I have to. I will need to check because, yeah, I guess the cursor is always hitting. Sorry.
It's a 3D cursor essentially. It's moving around the scene.
Yeah, but is it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember how that works, to be honest.
It raycasts out, and we just change the size of it to be the same no matter what depth. But
okay, yeah, because the size is always the same. So I was wondering if it's.
Yeah, we make it match like a certain screen size. Like we keep it.
Okay. Yeah, then we can report the 3D. Yeah, then I guess that will work for both. reported.
But but I think the point is valid though, that you would want to know like where in space you clicked, because you might want to put a particle there or something, or some effect, or otherwise. But you might also want to know like relative to like where on the 2D screen coordinates is that,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like
guess.
you'd want both.
Yeah, I guess both things are different, and they might be interesting, having the 2D screen position and the 3D position of the cursor or hands. But yeah, they will need to be. I mean, we can reuse the right hand for 2D screens, or we could just make different nodes for 2D screen, like cursor or hands. Yeah, but I mean, in VR you also have the left hand, so at least we will need to provide
You need
like
to know
another.
I mean, on the one hand, you could say, I mean, there's only ever, at least with hubs, and maybe that's not. I was just gonna say, maybe that's not forward thinking, but like, hubs only ever has one active cursor at a time, like either left hand or right hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like you toggle it. So I think you could just say cursor, and then the assumption is it knows which hand is active. But on the other hand, I don't know, maybe some other platform uses this eventually, and they want to be able to have dual wielding cursors. I don't know, two cursors, and
But I mean, you can move both your hands at the same time in VR.
that's what I mean. But I mean, only one of the cursors of your hand is active, but
Yeah. So the
that
cursor
may
is
not
always
always be the
attached.
case.
The cursor is always attached to one of the hands, not both. I think you just switch hands by clicking on. I don't remember which
You
button.
click the R3 and L3.
And then that's
click.
Yeah, that's also how it. Remember how it works in, generally speaking, in. Oh well, maybe I mixed things.
Oh,
But yeah, I think we switch the cursor based on that button click.
Mm-hmm.
so do we need to be able to not only query VR hand positions, but also which hand has the cursor active then?
Probably.
Yeah, but I don't really want to get too deep into this because it's not going to be like something we're going to work on like immediately. So I'm going to add this to the backlog, and we can explore this this query for position of the cursor position
Sure.
later.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get in the weeds with it. I just wanted to bring it up so that
No,
whoever's working on it, and it's probably going to be you, but whoever works on it knows what they're up against. That it's more than just a simple.
Yeah, sure. No, it's good to talk about it. Just I didn't want to spend a lot of time because eventually we will just spend time discussing this, and it's good for now to have like an overview of what
Totally.
what will it take. But cool. Yeah. Well, then we also must just keep on updating James. That we also talk about the timer. So essentially, I share this proposal. Which
I see the link there.
Okay, yeah. So if you click on the link, you will see the proposal there. So you have a node, which is what you talk about. You reference Unreal and Blueprint. So this is essentially the same. In Unreal, you can set timers for events or functions. Here, you just have like an exec output socket that you can attach to a trigger if you want to kind of call a function, sort of, or just like another node to call it. So you can set the timer, duration if you want to loop or not, and then you have that will return like a timer ID that you can store in a variable, and then you can clear that timer anytime with the clear timer node.
Awesome.
So yes, you can use set timer, clear timer in different nodes, or sorry, in different graphs, and then just as long as you store that timer variable somewhere accessible by both, then you're good.
Excellent.
Cool. So that's
Very
what
useful.
I'm planning to work next, and I want to discuss. And yeah, then I created. I uploaded several scenes to the testing server, so we can try them together.
Cool.
So maybe this is the scenes that you made, the stopwatch gloves. I just networked them as I was testing network. So I just thought that would be useful for all to jump in there and let me share the New loader. Yeah.
Yay! Thanks for the catch up. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean
No
to
problem.
slow it down.
Yeah.
No worries.
So that
Think
will
that-
be the. Okay. And just thanks, Arina, for sharing that. No, I think she left, right? No. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just share the link there. So if anyone wants to jump in there, we can play with that stopwatch together.
I'm in. I'm gonna go in.
Okay, see you.
No, you don't need to leave
Yeah,
here.
I'm gonna stay in here. I'm just
Yeah.
opening it in a separate
Yeah,
browser.
yeah. I think it's even better if we stay here and we just mute the microphone data there,
Okay.
just in case it crashes or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna share my screen here so we all see what I'm seeing.
I'm gonna set my name and stuff. Oh, it is there already. I'm the only one you can see. I think I'm in the dark, but I'm a ghost.
Oh, somebody started the timer, right?
Yes.
Oh, and somebody
Doris
was.
did, I believe.
I think a lot of people are clicking on the buttons at the same time.
Mhm. That's a good test, though.
Yeah.
Does everybody else see 10, 9, 8? Oh, and then somebody reset it. Okay, cool. Or was it because somebody
Oh, wow,
joined?
the reset button went.
It
Something
went.
happened.
It turned into
lost,
checkerboard.
yeah, lost texture.
It got set to it the wrong material. Looks like.
I think I mean, I'm not sure if the graph is ready for this
For,
level.
like this many people? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I think I wasn't setting so many like.
It's a lot of ownership changes.
I mean, at least it doesn't crash, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like sort of working. I mean, if nobody touches the stopwatch for a moment, and then to me, all right, I just saw it jump to 30.
Mm-hmm.
No, not now. I see like 20 seconds left. Somebody pressed the down arrow a few times, but
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be changing.
if you click the arrows while it's counting down, it shouldn't do anything. Like it's not supposed to. At least the logic.
Ooh, but if you press the up one, it jumps to a higher value. It's like 30 something. At least for me. I should mute more. Okay.
Yes. We'll let Manuel be the manipulator here.
Okay.
Oh, I should do that. Yeah, let me split screen you a little bit here. Oh, that helps. Yep, I got them split screen now, so I can see yours and that. That's fixed, yeah.
Else seeing that? Where it's jumping?
I'm seeing it jump up, yeah, when somebody hits the up arrow. But I can't always tell if somebody's actually clicking it or not. So
I am. And then if I tap the up arrow while it's resetting, it goes up 1, but then goes back to 0. But then when
I'm pretty sure Manuel and Imaginer can't hear each other because you're both talking over each other. I could be wrong.
Sorry. No, I can't hear Manuel at all. And I can't see his screen share. Now I can see his screen share. I refreshed.
He's going to reconnect just so that he can hear you again. Whoa, what happened there?
Okay.
What did happen then?
It's counting down. It's got 5 seconds left. 2, 1. Thumbs up.
Okay, so yeah, I was asking before, like, is everybody seeing the animation at the end of the?
I didn't see the animation that time just now.
Okay, let me try again. I'm gonna set it to 5 seconds. Is everyone seeing 5 seconds there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna start the counter now, and let it go until the end. So now,
I saw the animation on your screen, Manuel, but not mine.
okay,
No,
Yeah.
I didn't see it on mine.
Hmm.
And
I think I saw it. Could you please repeat it? Because I concentrated on the main screen.
Watch the little clock. The clock itself should spin around.
Yeah, it's
Mhm. Yeah. So now it started it. So 3, 2, 1. So now we should be playing.
Oh no, it's only
Yeah.
the light, the
light
red
lights
light
up.
in the room, but not the spinning of the clock. No.
Okay. Well, let's try a different example that also uses animation, which is this animated door.
Boy, this really shows you how hard it is to test networking alone.
Yeah. Yeah. So here is the door. So you want to click on the door, it opens.
Somebody did.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So everybody sees
I'm
the door
going to.
open.
I'm going to close it.
Okay. Cool.
Somebody opened it again.
Yeah. Well, maybe whoever's gonna do something, say it first, so we
that's what I was trying to announce.
we know that it's not the bug, because otherwise it's hard to.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I should have logged the name of the person interacting.
The clicker. Yeah.
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 That could be useful for games too. Anyway, just to know.
Yeah.
Like imagine a game where it was like who buzzed in first or who clicked.
Yes. Yep.
I just closed it, by the way.
Oh yeah, actually on Interact doesn't have the player.
User.
Yeah. Didn't realize that could be useful, but probably it was. Yeah. Maybe I'm
gonna open the door.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that worked as expected. So I'm gonna close it now. Wait, sorry. Okay, now it's closed.
Yep. That worked.
I think it doesn't allow people to interrupt it.
Sorry?
I don't think it allows people to interrupt it. Like if I try and click it when you're
while it's closing,
I don't think it works.
Okay,
give it a shot. You do it, Manuel. You close it, and Imaginary, you try to interrupt it.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Oh, it's not like something. Let me open it again. So I'm gonna say it when I close it. Okay. Okay, closing now.
You did it.
Oh, that time it worked.
Yeah, it was kind of a glitch though. I'm gonna do it again. Okay, closing now.
Well, that time it looked like it tried.
Yeah, there was a little glitch there. Yeah. Okay.
I just saw it close smoothly for me.
I saw one little flicker in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I also saw a flicker.
Yeah. Okay, let's try another one. So distance map range. Yeah, as I said, I haven't really. Yeah, maybe I should have prepared this more for bigger groups and get the states a bit better. But so now we are all away from the range.
Back away in the corners.
Yeah. So if anybody gets, I'm gonna go in. So you should all see. Yeah, you should all see the. Okay. Okay, so now I'm out.
But Imagineer did not make it light up,
No.
and neither
Oh,
did
yeah.
anybody else.
Okay, that might be. Yeah, maybe.
Is it set to only do the owner or something?
Yeah, I think. Let me see. Yeah, I can't even share my screen here. So let's see. Let's analyze this graph. So the thing is, I was doing here on tick. If entity is mine, yeah. So this is, yeah. The thing is, like, I should be checking here if you are away from the, like, yeah, because here is subtract length.
Well, it's just getting a length between the cube and what's above player. What player?
Yeah, so get local player, and then so when you are farther away from a specific distance, then you lose the. Yeah, maybe this sample is not. So here we should be checking. Oh, if you're closer than X, then you take ownership, and then you start updating the material. And then when you are farther away from that distance, then you still have ownership. But if somebody else enters,
but you can also pick it up. It's grabbable. So like when I grab it and pull it toward me, it works for me.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I see that. Yeah, because you are taking ownership. So
if I put it up here and somebody else grabs it, touches it even just once, then it'll respond to them.
Yeah, so whoever grabs it is going to start glowing if you are in the range. So I'm in the range, so I'm grabbing it, starts glowing. But if I'm away from outside the range, then stops glowing, even if I grab it, right?
Right.
Yep.
But if somebody else has grabbed it now, which is in the range, then it will start glowing again.
So that is kind of working as expected then.
Yeah, no, it's working. It's working as expected. Because the graph is not accounting for the distance and taking ownership. So, yeah.
But it can't just say, like, if nobody touches it, can it glow based on every person getting near it?
I mean, I think the thing that's happening is the last person that own it. So the last person that touched it, because we are actually not taking ownership at any point. It's only at the start. You are taking ownership whenever it is updated. So actually, there's a huge fight here for the state.
Because of grab?
Well, not a huge fight. Sorry. No, whenever. Yeah, I mean because the range is updating on tick, and that this is set material node. I mean, if you see the graph here, I'm sharing the screen. So if you let me zoom in. So this is the graph. So every tick. So here on tick. Oh no. Get local player. Oh yeah, here. This on tick. Every tick we are checking the distance, and then at the end we are just setting the material property. So this is happening for every client. So we are all sending an update, trying to update the material property, so the emissive intensity, based on our distance. So it's like so what is happening is that the state ownership is changing constantly, and whoever owns, so everybody's sending updates. So it's pretty much like hard to say what will happen. It's just like a state fight.
Yep.
If you remove that isEntity mine node, would that make it work correctly? But like for everyone coming in on it?
Yeah, no, but the problem is, so this isEntity, so right now, because of this set entity isEntity mine, then it will only update for the last person that was touching it. Actually, so then it should work. So let's see. So if we go all to the corners, then
right now it's setting. I'm the last one who touched it. So like,
okay,
look, I'm the guy.
Okay, so you are the owner. If I go inside, it doesn't glow because I don't own it. But if I touch it now, then it starts glowing. And if I leave, then it stops glowing.
It's all you now. Yeah.
And then doesn't matter who is in range now, it won't glow because it's only me.
Right.
And
I own the state, so it is me which is determining if it's glowing or not. But if somebody else takes the ownership, which is like grabbing it, then it will start glowing again or not, depending on the distance.
what would happen if you tried to make one of the side two cubes glow?
The what?
These other
What?
cubes?
Yeah, they're scene elements. They're not interactable at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like what would happen if I put an arch in a scene, and of course I don't want this grabbable, and I want when someone passes through the arch for it to light up and glow. And this needs to be
Would you use a
anyone
trigger?
who passes through.
Yeah, I mean, if you use a trigger, then you will take ownership when you enter the trigger, and then you will start updating you will update the emissive intensity. And yeah, I mean, you will, whatever you do after you take ownership of it, that will be what happens in the
I
scene.
guess what I'm wondering is it even possible to do the thing where this cube glows no matter who gets near it?
Not, I mean, if you want that to be, well, I guess you could do it.
What I didn't want to happen was that you grab some other object. In this case, it could be like another person, right? Same analogy. Some other object gets put into that trigger volume and then taken out of it, and it registers as like it's empty again. Because that first object is still in there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so the only way around that in logic is to have a check on exit that says, am I the occupant? Like, am I the current occupant? So like what I did was I made it so whenever you brought an object into that first trigger, you set current occupant as that entity.
Well,
and then if you leave and you're not that guy, then you don't trigger it.
But you could work around that with a counter. So whenever something is inside, increments the counter, and when something leaves, decrements the counter. And when the counter is 0, it's empty, and otherwise, is X number of people equals to the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was going to do it that way, but I wasn't sure if it would persist. Like if another person entered the room, is the counter networked? And you'd have to make a variable anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll need to check those cases, actually. I mean, the problem with that approach is that everybody will be updating the counter. So well, not really. So whenever you enter, you take ownership of the counter and you update it. And whenever anyone exits, that person takes ownership of the counter and updates it. So the counter should be it should be the same value for everyone, because it's always one person in charge of updating the counter, whoever enters or whoever exits.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Like a different case will be if you do something with the counter while you are inside, because then everybody will be fighting for the updating the state of the counter.
But if it only happens on enter or exit, then that's pretty safe.
You can. That case could be. Yes, we should actually do something similar here.
Can you try that while we're here? Is that too hard to try? I don't know. It might be worth everybody seeing that, because that's an interesting and useful pattern.
Okay, so this is the graph, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope everybody can see it. So this is what I was doing then. This is the last thing I added, the notification message. So here is collision enter. So what we can do is when you enter, well, let's first make a variable here. Well, let's create it on the scene graph.
Thanks for recording the rest, Rithik. I appreciate that.
Yes. I was going to ask about that. Make sure you send that or tell him about it so he can put it up after.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, can't network. Yeah, so well, I will need to create that under a trigger, for example.
Yeah, I think I did this all in a scene graph, didn't I?
This is one of the old ones that is all in the scene. Yeah, the only thing that I did with this is updating, but so we can do like.
I wouldn't do it that way now, but yeah.
Sorry? Yeah. So yeah, I've created a taken variable attached to the trigger volume here. So then
Okay.
whenever, so initially is false, right? So this is false. And then we will do something like, so whenever anybody enters, then well, I think we will need a counter for this, not the.
Yeah, I think that should be
Yeah, I
an
think
int.
it's, yeah. So we need like do it the other way. So yeah, whenever anybody enters here, then we should. Oh,
I lost Manuel.
I did too. Imaginer, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jim.
Yeah, I lost him too. I'm sure he's on his way back.
Yeah.
No problem.
No worries.
It actually helps to have two sessions running because I can definitely tell when you get booted because you leave both spaces.
Okay, so yeah, so the counter. So here, what we should do is, okay, we get the counter, other object, trigger, counter, and we update it just incrementing int. Oh, no, that's not int plus here. So this is this, and then we increment it by 1, and we attach it to there.
Am I the
So
only
every
one
time,
who doesn't like the symbols for things like plus? Like I'd rather it just say add, subtract.
yeah,
How other people
yeah.
feel.
Yeah, it also is more. Yeah, I think it's for me. It's also easier to find them, but
Yes, and the
My
plus
eyes can't
and,
see them.
yeah,
and the
yes, it's
difference
too
between
small.
plus and divide is not good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now on exit, we need to check if that counter. Well, we need to decrease that counter and then check if it's 0.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we get the variable counter. So we decrease it. Int.
Subtract, which
Oh
actually
yeah,
is
so
labeled
subtract
subtract.
is labeled. Yeah, that's,
I know, it drives me nuts.
Yep.
subtract 1, and then we update it.
I miss the math nodes that are like just one giant node.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we update that. We set it to.
Truth be told, I use add a lot and then just set it to -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, so I'm gonna move this a little bit to the back and to make some space
Or-
for the branch.
You could subtract -1.
Whoa,
That would really throw people for a loop.
it's true.
And then we need to compare here. And if this, well, we can reuse this one. If this is equals to 0.
But don't do that because now you're subtracting whenever you get it. You want to pull it from the get, not from the subtract.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this then. This will work. Yeah, because this is executing. So when you link, yeah, that's true.
Every time you think of it like you're sucking data through it,
yeah,
like a straw. Just
that's...
watch your input on that subtract or whatever you did there. Yeah, that guy or the equals. It should go in the upper slot.
Okay, well, why?
Oh, it doesn't. Oh, sorry. I thought you had already set it.
Oh, do you mean this one, this node?
Yeah, I thought you had already. Never mind. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter,
It
right? If it's
didn't matter.
here or
It didn't
here.
matter either way. No, it didn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, well, go over it again. So we get the variable whenever anybody enters. That should be 0 initially, as set here in variables. We increase that because we are entering. Then we increase the counter, and we play the animation, and we should actually only play the animation if it's 0, because we just want the first person triggering the animation.
Yeah.
Right. So we also need to do.
You could add a do once and then reset it.
But it also doesn't
Yeah.
it currently handle that though? Because
I think so. I think it's some. I don't remember. I had a feeling that because I saw that. No, because no, it's not handling. But the thing is, the way is. Oh, it's a gate here, on tick toggle. Oh no, this is spinning. No, this is a different thing. So play the animation. We don't reset the animation, so maybe it's just not doing anything.
Yes, it's clamped.
Yeah.
I think the animation's clamped on the
clamped.
create animation. So it's once it
Clamp
plays, once it's out, it stays out. So if you hit play again, it's like I'm already playing.
Yeah. So that should be handled by that. I mean, if you want to do it right, then we should do that thing. Like again, doing the well, we can do it just for fun. So here we want to check if it's get value. I'm gonna move things around a little bit.
Or duplicate it, I guess. Either way.
Yeah, we're gonna check if int is
0
equal to 0. So only the first person that enters when it's so it's gonna that's 0. So that person. Well, actually, we need to do this after checking.
Oh yeah, increment it after.
Yeah, so it is wrong. This has to go here.
And no, because we still want the counter to update each time.
Yeah, no, we're gonna update it, but after making sure that it's 0.
Yeah, but after you update it the first time, it won't be 0 anymore.
You're right. It doesn't work the other way around. You need to first, on enter, you need to update, and then you need to check. But you can check for 1, because the first person has...
Yeah, it'll always be false.
To 1, and if after the update variable contains 1, then you trigger.
That's what I understand. So what I want to do is whoever enters checks that it's 0. And if it's 0, that person will increment the counter and play the animation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's what we want.
Need the counter because,
well, we need it for multiple so it doesn't disappear.
So this would be...
I suppose it's better to have redundancy than to miss the case, but...
So this will be this, and then this.
Okay, drag in that false node to... Well, no. Actually, that shouldn't be part of the flow. The variable set, that shouldn't be part of the flow. We want... Yeah, that shouldn't be part of the flow. We want it triggering on both true and false of the branch, but true also then triggers the hologram appearing and disappearing.
Oh no, yeah, sure, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. We need to do that. It was the first time.
We need a sequence. No.
Yeah, I know what Urs says, right? So you always need to increment, but you need to check. So everybody that enters need to increment the counter.
Yes.
Right, but we only want the first person playing the animation. So then anybody is gonna increment the variable, which is what's going on here. This
Yeah.
this
So
part
you need
here.
a sequence node.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you can also use a sequence. I was just doing this in
Yeah. So
That way it's in
first
parallel.
yeah, so it's in parallel, but it's not essential the sequence, right? You can also do it this way. So you do this,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
So we
I'm
need
just wondering if that well, like what'll happen if two people enter at the same time and it jumps to two. But
yeah.
theoretically that shouldn't happen.
Well,
I
let's
hope.
test it. Let's see.
That's one of the things I love about this. It's very easy to quickly test.
Yes. Yep. Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if two people and
You are entering in the main scene.
sorry. Oh yeah, wait. Now I'm refreshing now. But yeah, there's certain can be a race condition where two people enter at the exact same time and they are updating the counter, and the network state will update an increment by two. That's
I'm refreshing over there too, so I can see.
yeah. Everybody needs to refresh, by the way.
In the other scene, not this one we're in.
Okay.
Oh wait. Oh, there's an error. Huh.
Okay.
I'm like frozen in the other scene for some reason.
Yeah, I think I got a yeah, I got an error here in the console. Um, hmm. Okay, so the error happens when I. Oh, okay, so begin other types. Huh. Yeah.
This is this is what I.
You saw this error?
Hmm.
What does the error say? I can't really read it.
Yeah, I think it's something about the counter not being set. So if let me see, because does that happen when we enter the trigger, or is that happening just by? I think it's when someone. Okay, so if we are all outside the trigger, it's when somebody enters the trigger.
Oh, did somebody move forward and then trigger it?
Yeah. So if you refresh, don't
Don't move. Yeah, refresh
just
and
to
don't
see
move.
it. Yeah, I want to see if it's because it shouldn't crash just by loading the graph. Yeah. So I think if we don't move, it's okay. Yeah.
I'm trying not moving.
Assuming we all spawn at the same spot.
Yeah, but this is
Which we
crashing
should.
for me anyways, even if I don't move.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cannot
So it's
dig into other types. Why?
yeah. Hmm.
You ran into that once, Jim, didn't you? I think we had this discussion before.
Which particular error?
The big ints cannot mix big int and other types.
Yeah, I did.
Maybe it was an unset variable
Yes.
that can sometimes end up being an extremely large integer.
Yes, they're handling the numbers like as big ints internally. I think in the graphs library. Let's check. So when this loads, okay, at some point these get variable triggers. So it's network, so the entity, and we give you data.
There's something about strings. There's like this huge.
So this is fine. This is 0. Oh, 191. Okay. Oh, wait. This entity.
For some reason, when I scrolled up, I had this big section called Registry Object Array, and it was expanded. Or no, there's just a big expanded part talking about strings and.
I think that's the
Entity 0. Okay, yeah. So might be because.
yeah, Jim.
Wait.
That's the
Entity?
schema for
Yeah.
all the nodes,
Got it.
and you copy that into the add-on.
Yeah. What is the? That's strange. Why is the variable getting 0 as the entity? Yeah, I think this is a bug. Yeah, because this will be set to an entity.
Well, with BDCS, wouldn't an entity just be like an ID integer?
Yeah. So this should report some number, but this is reporting 0, so it's not.
Wouldn't
So
0 be the first index?
No, I think 0 might be the. Wait.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, I think I don't know. There's something might be not exporting correctly. Okay. No. Then I will need to check what's going on because.
Can we maybe figure out which node is? Wait. Yeah. Can we maybe figure out which node is causing that to happen?
Yeah, I want to check first if it's exporting correctly. So it's actually the right entities set at export. Because maybe there's something wrong about how variables are being exported. So I just want to make sure that. So here is variable 0. So well, the thing that I want to do here is just export the GLTF, and then no, it's not. It is this one. So then I want to look for the node, which is variable get. Variable 002? What is this? 003? Well, it's kind of, I think it failed during export or something. I think there's a one node missing.
Oh.
So you see here that this, the node name is variable get 003. So I'm gonna just call it like AAA, just because now we can do that. Yeah. So otherwise it's all the same. So now here we should be AAA, but it's not. Why is not? Weird, because it didn't throw any errors or anything. So if I look for, so this variable get, so this node. Okay, so variable get is there, 001, 002. Oh, it's here, 003. Okay, so this is already to counter integer. No, variable get. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a exporter error. It's not exporting the entity actually. So variable get, I guess for scene nodes is failing. So yeah, so here you see like, well, the node this is the get variable node, but it doesn't have information about the entity.
Okay.
It usually should have something like entities that have that should have something like this: parameters, entity, and then the link to the GLTF node of that entity or that node in GLTF. But that's missing that. So I guess it's like it's related to being a scene graph somehow. Yeah, it's not accounting for. I guess it's checking if it's a scene. Yeah, it's that's something is wrong.
But why does it work sometimes and not others? Because before that, I'm sure there were get variable nodes or variable get nodes in this scene graph.
Before, you mean in the rest of the graph here?
Yeah.
No, there is not. This is the only. Oh wait, this is. Oh yeah, because it was a scene set variable and get variable. I think that's the difference. So this is a get variable here, but this is scene.
Oh.
So that I guess it exports correctly. That's the which one is this?
Yeah, but
Get variable 002.
in
So this one is this one configuration variable ID. So this is actually that one is referencing to a local variable, which is defined here. So that's a different case. And also it's not because this node is so it's going through a different case because it's references a local variable which is attached to the scene, and the other one is referencing network variable which is attached to an entity. So they go through different. So you look in hubs. This is different. Let me go.
I think it's because of it being networked.
Yeah, so this is because now we handle everything to the same node, which is the all network variable get set. So that node now handles like variables in general. But when we have two paths. So when it's network, we read the entity and we look for the variable in the store, the variables store. And when it's local variable, we look for it in the graph, like variables. So they go through different paths. So this path is working because here you don't access the entity at all, right?
Right.
But in the network version, you access the entity. So this is just the bug in the exporter.
Okay. To bypass that, can we just create a scene entity and assign the scene graph to that and remove the scene graph from the scene itself?
Yeah. I mean, we can do that. We can set this as scene.
Yep.
And then move to.
Are you a course creator, coach, or consultant? Do not make a course or ebook before you see this. Find out if your idea will sell before you create.
To self. Yeah, sorry that this become like a debugging session.
No, it's good. It's good to learn how to do all this stuff.
So here we this variable and then set to action. Then we have to set the action here. Okay, so that's that. And then here also we have to do this. I think this is connected to a lot of nodes, yeah, because it's being reduced. So timescale, blah blah blah, not there. And then so then here we have to create the counter. Yeah, well, let's create the counter here now that we have a global scene object that can have network variables. So we can add the counter as an integer networked. So now we do this. self 1, self here, then here, self. Oops. No. Self counter.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. What are we doing here?
The issue was networked variables on scene graphs. So we're changing the scene graph into a regular object graph.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it is the scene referencing objects in network variables in the scene graphs is broken. So I have to fix that.
Okay.
So so
that's why we haven't encountered it much lately. I've been shying away from scene graphs.
Yeah, well, it should work.
I probably would have caught it at some point, but
it should work. But yeah, it's got broken. Oops.
Hang on, Memo. Yeah, you've still got it assigned to the scene.
Yeah, so that's removed now. So now it's only here, right? And then
we changed the name of it, the graph.
Yeah. Main graph. And now this takes all the variables from self, here too, counter, this. I think this should export at least. Self. I don't think this is referencing to scene anymore.
I have to remember that, like, for Manuel, this is like, not your native language of graphs. Like, if this were code, you'd be done, like, yesterday, but...
Well, this is also pretty fast to work like this. I mean, code probably is longer. Like, it takes more time to do this, to be honest.
Yeah, it's maybe, yeah.
Yeah, this is very visual. It's easy to...
My favorite part about graphs like this is that like, you can zoom out and kind of see the overview. Whereas in code, I feel like that's a lot harder to do. But maybe if you're an expert, you're used to zooming out on your code. But for me, it's just words.
No, node-based stuff is very nice for getting a visual overview.
I think in code you can search and look for things.
Easier for sure.
I had a big issue when I worked on to replace the set and get variables with the new node variables, and I made a mistake, and it took a long time to find it. Because I was really missing search and functionality to just check where are the graphs and how can I change them easily. So this is quite something.
Okay. I updated it. Like, has everyone refreshed?
I refreshed. I don't see anything trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, neither actually. Something might be.
Yeah,
But it stopped crashing.
Yeah, it stopped crashing, which is makes sense.
My theory is that when you were plugging and unplugging, something got a true turned into a false or something. You know what I mean? Like something silly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me look a quick.
There is a warning: unknown property only Y. Okay.
See you, Polygon.
See you. Thank you for coming.
Bye. Can you hear me? Anyone?
I still hear you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, I was thinking that something. Yeah, I mean, should be at least this breakpoint should be stopping when I enter exit, but somehow.
That tells me that the graph didn't export.
Yeah, maybe it's something wrong.
Did you get a look at your console? It's like your output log.
Yeah, let me try again. So, globe hologram network, and yeah, it seems to be okay. Let me.
Are you sure? Like, look at your Blender output. Did it say?
Yeah, no, that's what I was looking at the Blender output.
Oh, you had it. You have it on another
screen. See any errors?
Yeah, it should pop up if there's an error. I'm wondering if maybe that first initial check is not handling correctly. Try bypassing that branch node and see if it works then.
You mean doing this? No, this is not gonna work. Yeah. All these, you mean?
Yeah, try that. Just for debugging purposes.
Yeah. Try no. Yeah, usually what I do is just add the back nodes, like to see if it's entering specific places and stuff.
I know.
Or just like at the back, like the JavaScript code, and see if it's stopping in certain nodes. And
yeah, I wish, like, I wish there was a debug checkbox on each node that would just allow you to
like put in some text or something.
Yeah, and print its value.
That's a
wait, it's not even. It's not working. Oh, this. Oh no, wait.
That doesn't go anywhere.
No, yeah, I thought because we just disconnected it, right? Right now.
Yeah.
So this is.
And we bypassed that. So it's something. Some connection is failing now.
Yeah, because this is ticking. So I'm gonna just debug here just to make sure that it's actually because maybe there's something really bad happened.
You should see that on tick. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you change a lot of things, is sometimes.
Yeah, Urs brought up a good point. This error feels like a paper cut we could get rid of. Like, I see that a lot of times.
So this is okay. That part is working. Okay, so I guess collision enter. Okay, wait.
It's checking to see if you're the player owner or something.
This is not pointing to the trigger. Yeah, when we moved that got broken.
Aha.
Yeah, the collision enter, collision exit is when changing the from a scene graph to an object graph.
Oh, self versus scene
this
versus.
Pointing to self because the order is different.
Got it.
So now it should be working. I think I'm gonna remove this.
Maybe that could be
an error.
Error check. Yeah, at export time. If just to check, like if an interact like a non-collision enter thing, like that it actually points to a collision volume.
Yeah.
The on trigger used to require that the component live on the object.
Yeah, but now you can choose a different object, and I guess.
But the drop down would only filter ones that had like a rigid body component on them and a trigger or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, probably should do that. Like at least check that has a rigid body and not show. I think it is it's actually doing that. The thing is, so here it will only show. Oh no, it shows everything. So this is we should fix that. Well, let me write down all these things because I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, it's a lot. So the drop down filter.
Enter. And the other one was network variables. Okay, I got it. Okay, so now I'm gonna, not sure if I did, but I'm gonna again export that, upload it here. All right, and now, well, let's see if it's working or not. So I assume like in a normal, like if there's not race condition between players entering the trigger, it should work. But I think it can still.
Crashing.
Is it?
Yes. For me, it crashed.
Oh wait. It crashed.
And it has the remark, can't convert big int to number.
Another one of those, huh?
Yeah. So it's the same as before? Weird. I'm gonna quickly check this, and otherwise we can just I will fix this and maybe even prepare better the demos for next day, and we can just test on a.
Yeah, I got that big int thing again too.
I had also some issues when I converted big int to strings and wanted to concatenate this converted int, the string, with another string. I got this similar error because there is something going on with big ints, I guess.
Yeah. No. Let me.
Yeah, I've run into stuff like that as well. In just various things I've been doing.
Something with converting big ints. There seems to be something going on.
Yeah, I think it's well. I thought maybe moving that to object will be different, but I think this is the node is broken. It's not. Yeah, it's not exporting correctly when referencing other objects. So yeah, so it's not gonna work anyways. So I guess it's somewhere here. Our variable get the configuration. So here it should be working. I mean, this should return get socket value. Okay, yeah, I know where it is. Yeah, should be calling get. Yeah, get deep socket value. Yeah, so well, I will fix that. Well, maybe for next Monday we can go over these examples again, and I will try to make them a bit more airtight. Well, fix these bugs first, and then also make it more airtight and just handle the state better, so we can actually test that in an actual network environment. Everything is working as expected, and I guess that means for examples like these is well, if it's someone inside, then the animation will be on, but if you leave or enter, if there is at least one person inside, the state won't change, and this, well, what we were talking about before. So yeah, I will go over that and fix these things. But it was nice to test all these.
No, this was actually really helpful, right? Like we found.
Yeah, because sometimes I mean one of the things that I wanted to do, but this is a lot of work and it's like I have to choose where to put the time, is adding tests. We had that at some point on the main Blender add-on, and it turned out to be a really useful thing because you can actually the tests are passed automatically. When you push something, it will fail, and it gives you an idea of if anything was badly broken. For some other issues, minor issues, it's hard to catch. You have to just do very specific tests, but at least for the main things, it's very useful that to make sure that you didn't break anything. So for this will be actually extremely helpful to set up to have a bunch of tests that set up at least the nodes that we usually update more, or because the math nodes are the logic is, I mean, there's a bunch of those nodes that don't really do much on the Blender random side. It's just like comes from, it just creates like the node, but the node doesn't have much logic. All the logic happens on the client. So the node in Blender is at exporting parameters basically. But there is some other nodes that they're actually doing a lot inside. When exporting, they are updating components, they are checking things, looking for, like getting the entities from the GLTF, like entities or materials. So all those nodes is good to have like some tests on them to make sure that they haven't broken and everything works still in a scene graphs, in object graphs and the variables. So all those things I think will be good to test them. So that's something pending. Hopefully, maybe at some point, have time to add tests for those. But yeah, so that will save a lot of hassle on when something is updated and we're not breaking some of the things. Because it's really hard to test like a lot of things every time you change something. So.
Yes. Mm.
So yeah, we'll do that for next week, just changing this, and then at some point we can. I will add tests for at least the most important cases or the most important nodes.
Makes sense.
Cool. Well, I'm going to need to drop now because I need to prepare dinner.
Any chance I could quickly show my array?
Oh yeah, it's true. Sorry, forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me screen share. My Blender. Actually, is there any way I could? Well, no. I'll just screen share it. Hang on, let me share that onto the screen. Okay. Here we go. So simplified. Sorry, I don't have the add-on enabled by default. Okay. So, can you all see my screen share?
Yeah.
Yep.
Are things clear enough?
A little bit blurry, but
okay. So what I've done here is I've got an empty as a parent, like a handle to the array, and then for each index, I've got a separate object. And then each object has which array it belongs to, its index, and its current value that it's stored. And this currently only is working with integers, but that can be changed to any type of object. And then the main one, it has a bunch of custom events for loops and to get the index and stuff. And then it also has these variables, action, like what you're doing, like get or set, which index, which value, and returning value, and then looping. And so then each slot in the array has a behavior graph to get the index, set the index, and loop over. So basically, when it's getting the index, it's simply I'm getting from the array when it gets a get index event, it just checks to see whether its index matches the one you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, then it sets the return value to its value and triggers that. And it's a similar thing for the set index. Hang on. I just take the array. If it's a set index event, I check whether it's looking for me, for my slot. And if it is, then I update my value with whatever you want me to update with. So that's the basic set and get graphs. And then for looping, at the start, I just set the loop start value to, like, I can pass in like 4x in like the standard JavaScript for loop for let x equal 0, x is less than 1 or 3 or whatever, x plus plus. So I can set the start and the increment and was skipping.
Oh, right.
So this is why I'm re-implementing the for loop just as triggered events. So I'm just setting where it starts, and then I'm doing a loop event. I'm manually doing a loop event and triggering it so that if it's reached its end, then we just call a loop end event. If not, we increment that variable, the loop index variable, and then we set that and we trigger the loop body. And so then on the scene, basically what I've got, I did 2 here, so I had to add in loop IDs so that events wouldn't trigger for both of them. But anyway, at the start, whenever I touch a cube, I set the things like the loop start is 0, the loop end is 2. It increments 1 each time. And then which loop is it? The loop ID. And so then for every loop body, I just get the index. I send a get index event. And then once it has, when it triggers to the get index result, like when it has a result, then I take that and I print it. I display a notification and do a debug log, and then I continue on with the loop. And then when the loop ends, I do what do I do? I just display a finished notification. And then I have another graph here, which is just doing basically the same thing, except it's setting the values of my whole array to 42. So the 2 loops here, this is on start, so after like 42 seconds, I set the whole array to be values of 42. And then this is whenever I click on the 2, on the cube, I read the array. And so if I just export this now and open up a version of the testing instance, and just put this in. So the simplified, and I just put this here. We've got this. And now I put in throttles to try and see if that would fix the event handling, and it sort of worked, but if I just click on this cube now, and we wait for a bit, then we see the script 15, and it finished the loop, and script 45, and it finished the loop. And the values of my array are 15, 30, and 45.
Nice.
Except, so this should be working, and we're sort of getting a few debug prints here. Yeah, but it seems not to be triggering events and or updating variables as it should.
Maybe firing events too fast?
Potentially, but like on trigger, I've got this throttle in here, which is 1 second. So like, aside from the on interact, I've got a throttle after every one of these event nodes, so that it just slows everything down. And that did help. Before when I put in the throttles, it was just printing like the first value of the array, or maybe it was printing the last value of the array. I don't remember, but it was just printing one. But I'm thinking that all of this, it should work.
Yeah.
I think there could be issues because you have a lot of loops in there. If you ask for a result before the setting is not finished, then there could be issues.
Yeah, this is true, but like for this, in this, I'm only continuing after I get the result. Like when the get index result, when that finishes, like when that is fired. So like for get index, the very last thing it does after it sets this value is it triggers this get index result event. So I'm only continuing on with the loop after that result has been fired. So after that variable has been set. At least I'm assuming it's after that variable has been set.
Why did you put like some? Oh, you have the bug, right? Already.
Yes. So like in index result, that's on trigger of the get index result, and then when I was here, so you see it's only triggered twice. But it should have been 3 times. So and like if I where do I put in another debug node, debug log, and just go like here. I'm pretty sure there. Let me just export this. And if I load this in again, I'm pretty sure I will get that done the first time, index result, second time, oh no, that's only doing twice. Okay. That is weird. However, it is incrementing to the third time. So it is firing at least 3 times if at least I think I do the loop. I know everyone is short on time, so I can put in some debugs, and if you want, I could maybe send this file to you, Manuel, and
I was going to ask that. If you can send it over, I can take a look and see if I can spot something.
Okay.
Yeah, it is good that you are testing on these kind of complex graphs, because I think probably it is one of the most complex ones that we have.
Yes.
And it also shows that we're gonna, if we want to do things like this, there needs to be simpler ways, right?
Yeah,
Well,
this is probably a race.
But I mean, this is basic event handling, essentially what it's boiling down to. So I kind of figure we're going to be doing that a lot.
Yeah, no, that's good. That to test like events and like in because usually
Fire loop body, trigger loop, done 3 times. Okay, so that is okay. Maybe I need to look into this more. It could be something that's wrong in my logic.
Okay. Well, you take a look, and otherwise, just send it over to me. I can take a look to see if there's something wrong with the execution. Because as I said, we have tried events in some cases where like interacting with things, but not like a lot of events happening rapidly, or so it could be some limitation there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll have a look.
Okay. Well then, share it and I will take a look. And otherwise, next week I will prepare those demos to test together. And if anybody wants to try some networking use case, can also.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious. Like, I've been making these games that are pretty fast action and stuff. I'm actually really curious if they'll even work like with another player. Like,
that will be good to try. These mini games that you have been working on to play together, and the thing about networking is a lot of like gating, or handling the share state, gating things like in stopwatch, like so you can't do something while it's playing, or the hologram, like and in that state, like with some, because internally it might be handling the networking state correctly. So whenever it takes ownership, this is broadcasting to the rest. So that might be happening internally just fine. But if you don't manage the state at the graph level, then it will be a lot of like state fighting, where people are taking constantly ownership of the same things and overriding the state on the other clients. So it's it's also like a lot of work on the graph side to craft like a good network experience.
Yeah, and I think for me that the points of confusion for me are more about just my own lack of experience with multiplayer, and so I sometimes get confused when I'm using like the local player nodes and things like that, where I'm like, I really have to think about it, from a networking perspective.
Yeah, we can go, if you have you show like these games you have it working on, we can go over that during a session, and
that would be cool.
Figure out, because then everyone could also hear about that, and eventually still have that documentation that I have to work on. So
but I also like being able to share these examples on the GitHub repo, and then other people can try them out and experiment with them and stuff once we develop those good patterns.
Let's do that next week.
Cool.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you. This was great.
Thank you a lot.
Yes, thank you.
And see you in the chat.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Imaginary?
Yes,
Are you still there?
I am.
How can you add text to the graphs? I saw it with Manuel's graphs that he has big areas with text in it. This is the graph.
Okay,
Has
let me screen share.
Okay.
I will show you.
I didn't find any possibility to do that.
Okay, so you're meaning these areas here, right? Like this big blue one?
No. Yeah, this I know. But Manuel had areas where he put graph as comments to the graph. Notes with text or some other elements you can place and have big text.
Oh, was it like this?
I don't see any text. Where did you place text?
Not within the graph. It's just in an editor up to the left here. I'm not exactly sure what you're meaning.
Manuel had like these boxes in your graph, like the blue blocks, and there he had not only the title, but he had really text explanations. This is doing this, and when you do that, it does the others.
So like the has reached end, just longer?
Yes, but if you add a long heading, I think it gets a big long one-liner stretching to it, but it doesn't do a line break. And he had really texts shown in the graph as a yeah. Okay, so never mind. If you don't know, you don't
actually,
try. I asked Manuel on next Monday.
So like here, because in the properties things, there's a text property and it can be set to a text file. And so then we've got this.
How did you do that? It is a text property. Properties text.
Okay, so if you click on one of these frames, if you go expand the properties section,
yes.
And you see down here there's text, that will allow you to select a text file. So if you then go over to Blender's text editor and create a text file, and input some text in there, then you can choose that from this drop down and it'll display in the
texture painting. I don't have a text editor in Blender.
No. Each editor spot on your screen, if you go down through the drop-down menus, in the scripting section, there's a text editor.
Now I see it. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably that is it. Yeah, because that comes in very helpful when you want to document some complex graphs.
Yes. Yep. And actually, to be honest, I did not know about this feature until you mentioned it. So this is cool.
Okay. But you knew exactly very fast what I wanted. Yes. Great.
Yep.
So thanks a lot.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.